Tonight, a young woman's identity remains a mystery weeks after she died inside a Gwinnett County shopping mall.
Her body was discovered in the back of a vacant part of the food court. And since we first told you about this mystery woman and then showed you this GBI sketch, nobody has come forward with even a tip to help identify her to authorities. It's tragic and rare, but police say sometimes it does indeed happen. 11 Alive's John Chiric is digging deeper into this story.
It was a mall security guard making his rounds who found the woman's body just before Christmas, December 21st. The body in a back room of this vacant food court at Gwinnett Place Mall. She had died alone some 2 weeks earlier. No ID, no cell phone, no car keys, no wallet or credit cards, no obvious cause of death. And since Tuesday, when Gwinnett County Police released this GBI sketch of the woman, so far, no friends or family have come forward to identify her. So far, her own fingerprints and DNA aren't enough to identify her.
As of now, all we're able to say is that this is not a person who had a criminal history. So the fingerprints did not match anything as far as an arrest goes.
Gwinnett County Police Sergeant Jake Smith says the woman was wearing an unusual jumpsuit made out of a mesh material, and her shoes were off and sitting next to her body. Police describe her as Asian, petite, 5 feet tall, 100 pounds, in her mid to late 20s, and no tattoos. An unusual case for detectives, but not unique.
I would call it rare. Only single digits of cases ever in the history of the department where we never identified the person at all.
In fact, in all, across the state, GBI records going back a half century count 53 people who died leaving no clues, no family or friends to tell police who they were. All open cases and cold. Sergeant Smith says maybe this woman is from out of state. Maybe detectives will be able to match her with some missing person record from somewhere and reunite her with loved ones. For now, the mystery woman of Gwinnett Place Mall remains in death, anonymous and alone.
A 19-year-old Georgia State University sophomore named Silling Mann. But how did she die? How did her body end up at the mall undiscovered for 2 weeks? John Chiric is on the story for us tonight from the GSU campus. John?
She was a psychology major, a sophomore here at Georgia State University, but for some reason, she did not sign up to take classes this semester. And for some reason, 3 months ago today, she left home, left her family in Lawrenceville without telling anyone where she would be. Police say the last weeks of her life and her death are a mystery.
We don't know exactly what her movements have been from mid-October to mid-December.
Police say someone must know. Someone must know what was going on in Silling Mann's young life. 19 years old, she suddenly left home in Lawrenceville in October, twice, without telling her family anything. Her family telling police she'd never done that before. The second time she left on October 10th, she never returned. On November 20th, police say Silling went to the clothing store at Perimeter Mall where she once worked to pick up her final paycheck. Within a couple of weeks, she was dead. Her body found inside Gwinnett Place Mall. A mall security guard found her in the back room of a former restaurant at the vacant food court. No ID on her. Police released a sketch of her based on her remains, and tips led police to Silling Mann's family. Gwinnett County Police Corporal Michelle Pajera says detectives are still not sure exactly how Silling Mann died or how her body ended up in the back room of that abandoned food court.
They want to look into her history. They want to look and see who she's been hanging out with, see what her movements have been for at least a 2-month period of time, and hopefully that'll give us some more answers into this investigation.
There were injuries on her body, but the medical examiner has not ruled her death a homicide. Detectives are hoping the toxicology tests, when they come back, will help them solve the mystery of the last weeks of her life and her death. From GSU, John Chiric, 11 Alive News.